50 Cent just pressed a button in King Harris that had the whole internet reacting. Lil Bro jumped on live and completely snapped.
I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as Your mama dead as Go dig her up. Go dig her up.
Go to hit up. Go to hit up. Then Boosie slid in with his own response.
But man, when you start talking about people's deceased parents, you crossing a line that's hard to come back from.
But King and T.I. were not ready for what Boosie said next. Let's break this down. 50 Cent crosses a line and King Harris explodes. Now look, there are certain codes in hip-hop you just don't violate. You can critique a man's music all day. You can joke about his style, his hairline, his outfits, even his streaming numbers. That's normal, that's culture. But there's one rule that's been understood since the early days of rap. Even the most outspoken figures in the game have respected it. You do not involve family. You don't drag someone's wife into it. You don't speak on someone's mother. You keep it between the two people who actually have the issue. But on the 22nd of February 2016, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson decided to test that rule in a very public way. And what followed turned into one of the most uncomfortable and personal back-and-forth moments hip-hop has seen in years. Here's how it unfolded. At the time, 50 Cent and T1 had already been trading words online over Vazoo's battles and accusations about cooperating. The tension was there, but it was still typical rap back and forth. Two veterans talking spicy on the internet. Nothing new. Then 50 took to Instagram and posted an unflattering photo of T.Y.'s wife Tamika Tiny Harris with a caption many felt was meant to embarrass her in front of millions. The message? Stay out of grown folks' business, but the delivery felt personal. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't coded. It directly involved someone who wasn't part of the original disagreement. And that's when everything shifted. T.I. and Tiny's 1-year-old son, King Harris, saw the post and reacted instantly. No waiting, no family strategy session, no behind-the-scenes phone call. He went straight to Instagram Live and unloaded in a way that made everybody stop scrolling.
I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as Your mama dead as Go dig her up. Go dig her up.
Go to hit up. Go to hit up. And just like that, the situation escalated to a place nobody expected. King referenced 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away in a house fire when he was 8 years old. For 50, that loss has always been a deeply personal part of his story. But King didn't hold back, and he wasn't finished.
What's a picture of your mama? She dead. Pay respect. Stop playing with my mama. Playing like that. Going like that.
There was no filter, no pause, just raw emotion pouring out live in front of thousands watching in real time. He essentially told 50 that if you're going to post someone's mother online, then be ready for that same energy back. Except in this case, 50's mother is no longer here. And that's the kind of moment that changes a feud permanently.
How y'all raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mom. I'm not going.
I'm not going. King kept repeating that one message again and again. He made it clear that the way he was raised would never allow him to sit quietly while someone disrespected the woman who gave him life. He grew up under T.I.'s guidance, raised with a certain mindset, and he wanted the world to understand that.
So tell your dad mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mother.
Mother? That felt like a clear warning. King was letting 50 and anyone connected to him know that bringing that kind of energy toward the Harris family was a serious misstep. But he didn't stop there. He shifted toward another topic the hip-hop world already knows is sensitive for 50, his relationship with his son Marquise.
Straight like that. Your son don't love you. You don't got no family.
That part hits because it's public knowledge that 50 and Marquise have had a long, complicated fallout that's played out online for years. King knew exactly which button he was pressing with that reference.
You not loved. You rich, but you not loved. Money means nothing without no one to spend it with. Your son don't love you.
King essentially told the internet that all of 50 Cent's success, the money, the business moves, the TV shows, the film deals, doesn't automatically equal personal peace. He implied that professional wins Don't replace family connection. That wasn't just rap talk, that was personal. Then King brought it back to his own foundation. He made it very clear where he comes from and why he stands the way he does.
I don't play by my mama. At the end, I don't play by my mama. I'm just how I'm raised, nigga. I wasn't raised by y'all father. My dad is TIP. Tip. That's how I'm raised. I don't play like this.
I don't play like this. And this wasn't just live stream talk. On the 24th of February 2026, King went into the studio, recorded a full diss track titled Made Man, and released it across major streaming platforms. The music video? Shot inside a parking garage surrounded by luxury cars. King dressed in a red hoodie and beanie, delivering pointed bars that made it obvious he was standing firmly behind his words. He even reposted an older controversial image of 50 Cent to his story, adding the hashtag #NoAI to emphasize that it wasn't digitally altered. At that point, King had fully committed. No stepping back, no softening the tone, and the internet was locked in, watching every move. Now, when something this intense happens in hip-hop, everybody suddenly has an opinion. Rappers, podcasters, fans, even the guy at the gas station has something to say. But some voices carry more weight than others. And one of the most anticipated reactions came from Boosie Badazz. Boosie isn't just an online personality chasing views. He's someone with a long history in the culture, someone who has lived through real-life challenges and has always spoken his mind whether people agree or not. So when Boosie addressed the King Harris and 50 Cent situation, people paid attention. And the first thing he did was acknowledge where King's anger was coming from. He didn't brush him off, he didn't mock him. He recognized the emotion behind it all.
First off, you gotta understand where King coming from. That's his mama, man.
Your mama, man. Simple, direct, no extra explanation needed. Whether you're from the hood, the suburbs, or anywhere love actually lives inside a home, your mother is sacred territory. That's not negotiable. That's not entertainment. And Boosie made it clear this whole situation sparked because that line got crossed.
You can't be out here playing with a man mama and think it's just gonna be rappers rapping.
Rappers rapping. That might have been the most honest summary of the entire feud. Boosie basically said, once family gets involved, this stops being music and starts being personal. The playful back and forth, that's over. The industry rules? They don't apply the same way anymore. When it turns into blood ties, emotions move differently than business.
King of YN, he got that fire in it, and he let it be known he ain't going for none of that.
Boosie gave King his credit. He respected the backbone. He acknowledged the loyalty. Standing up for your people? That's honorable in any circle. But then his tone shifted because understanding the reason doesn't always mean approving the reaction.
You got 50 Cent posting pictures of Tiny on his Instagram, trolling her.
Boosie also made something clear. This didn't start out of nowhere. In his view, 50 lit the spark by involving Tiny in a dispute that wasn't hers. Once that happened, the temperature changed.
Telling people to keep his name out their mouth. 50 been a menace on the internet since the internet started.
And Boosie didn't pretend this was new behavior. He pointed out that 50 Cent has built a reputation online for pushing buttons. From Ja Rule to Rick Ross, The Game, Fat Joe, and now T.I.'s circle, that pattern has been consistent. The formula? Provoke, wait for a reaction, then flip the narrative. But this time, King's response came with a level of intensity that caught even seasoned observers off guard.
We know how he do, but King took it to a whole different level of disrespect.
A whole different level. Those were Boosie's exact words. And coming from someone who has witnessed and delivered some of hip-hop's most headline-making moments, that says a lot about how far this escalated.
Because he felt like 50 was trying to play his mama like she wasn't a legend.
King made it clear he was defending his mother's name. He didn't want Tiny Harris reduced to internet jokes or engagement bait. But in protecting that legacy, he stepped into territory that even Boosie felt was heavy.
Talking about, your mama dead as go dig that up.
Boosie repeated King's words back, and even in the retelling, the weight of it lingered.
That's some heavy, dark shit to be saying. telling a to go put flowers on a grave. But man, when you start talking about people's deceased parents,
that was the uncomfortable truth the culture needed to hear. There is a line. There has always been a line. And once you bring someone's late mother into a rap dispute, you're no longer in casual territory. At that point, quick apologies and handshake truces don't fix things overnight. The impact sticks. Boosie also pointed out something else, the imbalance in this situation.
You crossing a line that's hard to come back from. He telling 50 to put the music up and stop playing. If you ask me, it's a mess. You got the South Prince, in a way, T.I.'s son, going at a billionaire mogul.
That's the part King probably didn't fully calculate before he went live and let it all fly. He was trading energy with someone who has built an entire career out of winning internet wars. 50 Cent doesn't always win the traditional way. He turns moments into memes, and he's been doing that since before King was even old enough to scroll. But Boosie wasn't just talking about social media tactics, he shifted the conversation toward real-life consequences. He warned that if King kept moving with that same intensity, the outcome could be serious, not as drama, but as reality. Boosie even compared it to his own son, Tootie Raw. He said he's already told his son's mother, and even his grandmother that reckless moves tend to lead to locked doors. That wasn't gossip talk. That was someone speaking from lived experience. And then things got even more complicated. Because Boosie's own son stepped into the situation, posting direct warnings aimed at King Harris and telling him to stay in his lane. King, staying consistent with his energy, didn't let that slide either. He responded, questioning Boosie's authority to check anyone in the first place. Just like that, the situation expanded. What started as a 50 versus T1 issue now had extra names in the mix. And here's where it gets layered. Boosie hasn't exactly been silent about T.I. in the past. In previous interviews, he openly questioned T.I.'s legal history and whether certain outcomes involved cooperation with authorities. He claimed to have seen paperwork. So when Boosie speaks on this, he's not some neutral referee with zero history involved. He's someone who has had his own disagreements with T.I., yet still felt 50 crossed a line by involving family. That balance is what made his take stand out. He criticized both sides where he felt it was necessary. Now, if you're watching all this unfold and wondering how a Vazoo's conversation turned into diss tracks, personal shots, and internet chaos, you're not alone. Because the road from 20 songs versus 20 songs to this level of escalation has been one of the wildest detours in recent hip-hop memory. And it didn't start yesterday. T.I. has been pushing for a Vazoo's battle with 50 Cent since the platform launched during the pandemic in 2020. This wasn't casual talk. Tip was campaigning for it. He wanted the G-Unit General, the New York heavyweight behind Get Rich or Die Tryin', to sit across from him and go hit for hit. T.I. believed his catalogue stacked up strong. I too my ting believe. 11 studio albums deep with records like What You Know, Live Your Life, Whatever You Like, Swagger Like Us, Bring 'Em Out, Rubber Band, Man, and Big Things Poppin'. He even called 50 out publicly on his birthday in 2020, posting a 3-minute Instagram video challenging him, directly referencing the 2007 sales battle with Kanye West as part of his argument. But 50 never bit. Not in 2020. Not in 2021, even when T.I. grabbed the mic at the Atlanta premiere of 50's show Black Mafia Family and called him out on stage. And not in February 2026, when T.I. repeated the challenge on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson.
Nah, I said I wanted 50. That's what I said. He don't want no smoke though.
Every time T.I. brought up Vazoo's, 50 responded the same way. He reposted old clips and footage, pushed narratives, and captioned it with lines like, "Keep my name out your mouth, no Vazoo's, let's do the stay away challenge." That became 50's strategy. Deflect, troll, and flip the focus with humor instead of stepping into the music debate. And it worked because most people don't know how to counter that type of digital chess. But on February 22nd, when T.I. appeared on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast and said publicly that he'd lost respect for 50 over the Verzuz situation, 50 didn't just joke this time. He made it personal. He posted Tiny's photo. And that's when everything ignited. T.I. responded the way artists traditionally respond in the booth. He released 2 diss tracks back-to-back, War on February 22nd and What It's Worth on February 23rd, produced by Lil K. On the second track, Tip delivered sharp, pointed lyrics and even referenced 50's former partner, Joy Bryant, in a way that had people talking. It was intense, it was lyrical, and it was the most fired up T1 had sounded in years. The culture reacted instantly. Charlemagne the God weighed in early, placing responsibility on 50 for escalating things, saying T.I. hadn't initially made it personal. And then someone else on the podcast brought up the point that kept echoing in every conversation about this situation.
Honestly, what his wife got to do with anything? You know, the family thing, it's just weird. Them 2 brothers got a problem. It's like, all right, keep going at each other if that's what y'all gonna do. But the moment you bring somebody's family into it, it gets crazy. So I totally understand why King went off, you know what I mean? That's his mother.
Charlemagne kept it honest. He said straight up that these 2 shouldn't even be beefing in the first place, and that he wished they could settle it like grown men. But he also made it clear he understood exactly why King Harris reacted the way he did once his mother got pulled into the situation. DJ Academics had a completely different energy. Neutral wasn't on the table for him. He brought out the scoreboard and started handing rounds to 50 Cent.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I got 50, I got 54 on you right now. It's not a good look for you, brother.
Academics called it 4-0 in 50's favor. His argument? While T.I. kept pushing the Verzuz challenge, 50 was attacking character, which made it look like Tip was sidestepping the real tension. Academics also described King's comments about 50's late mother as beyond shocking and pointed out what he saw as a huge imbalance, a young rapper going head-to-head with a billionaire mogul. That take sparked backlash, especially from Southern fans, who felt Academics was leaning toward 50 because of regional loyalty. Joe Budden offered one of the more balanced perspectives on his podcast. He said he respected the family loyalty and even called T.I.'s diss tracks the cheat code to beating 50. According to Joe, 50's trolling works best when opponents respond emotionally online. But when someone steps into the booth and responds with real music, that changes the dynamic. Joe also raised an important point. Once deceased family members are mentioned, things hit a different level. At that stage, reconciliation becomes much harder. Angela Yee covered the story on her Way Up With Yee platform, staying mostly neutral but highlighting key details. She noted how quickly King stepped in after 50 reposted Tiny. She also pointed out something many overlooked. 50 had started quietly removing T1-related content from his Instagram, which some observers interpreted as a subtle reset. Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson, who helped reignite this round by hosting T.I. on Nightcap, also addressed the escalation. They discussed 50's post, King's reaction, and whether this was spiraling into something deeper. Their tone stayed entertaining, but there was an underlying caution. What started as competitive talk was clearly shifting into something heavier. And that's where things currently stand. As of the 26th of February 2026, King Harris's Made Man is gaining traction on streaming platforms. T.I. continues previewing new material aimed at 50. 50 has cleared his page of direct T.I. references, but still finds subtle ways to stir conversation. Boosie has shared his perspective and, in the process, ended up in his own side exchange with King. Meanwhile, the hip-hop world is watching it unfold like a reality series nobody planned, but everybody keeps tuning into. The question that keeps popping up in comment sections, podcasts, and barbershop debates is the same one Boosie asked. When you bring someone's late parent into a rap dispute, where do you go from there? In this culture, boundaries get tested all the time. Competitive talk is part of the art form, but there are certain lines that, once crossed, are hard to walk back. No quick phone call fixes it. No public handshake smooths it over overnight. Some words carry weight, And everyone involved, King Harris, T1, 50 Cent, and even Boosie understands that once family, especially late parents, are mentioned, the tone changes permanently. Like this video. Click the card on your screen for more.